Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Sasquatch Watch Radio with your host, Billy Willard, and the Blog Squatcher. Strap in, hold on tight, get ready, because it is about to go down.
All right, everyone, welcome to another episode of Sasquatch Watch Radio. Today is Monday, August the 10th, 2009. The last time I looked, I think we're still in that year. My name is Billy Willard. I'm the host tonight. And, of course, we have our great co-host, Mr. D.B. Donlin. How are you doing tonight, D.B.?
Am I actually on?
Yes, you are.
Well, right. That Blog Talk lady kept hanging up on me. I don't know what she's got against me.
She does that sometimes. She gets a little feisty.
Well, she's on her sauce tonight or something, I'll tell you what. Well,
maybe
since I'm here...
over there. Maybe it's because she's from Britain or something.
Yes. Well, I got a couple of news items.
All right, let's hear them.
She's trying to suppress the news is what she's trying to do. There's a couple of items that have passed by that are related to animal intelligence, and one of them is interesting, but not directly related to Bigfoot in any way. But there's an ancient fable, an Aesop's fable, about the crow and the pitcher. It's about a crow who's dying of thirst. He sees a pitcher that's got some water in it, but it's very narrow-necked, so you can't just stick your head down in it. So he fills it up with rocks so that the water raises up and he drinks the water. And then, there's always a moral to these fables, and the moral is that necessity is the mother of invention and blah, blah, blah. And everybody thought, oh, that's a wonderful story, but just a fable, a myth, it never happens. But it actually turns out that scientists have found that crows will actually do that.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, for thousands of years, people have thought it was just a fable, but they'll actually do that.
Huh.
And one of the things that I thought about immediately, and I guess it's just the way my mind works right now, was, I bet there were people who saw it and who said, you know what I saw the other day? I saw a crow putting rocks in a pitcher to get the water out. And everybody was like, no, they didn't. No, they didn't. And so it's a fable instead of, an actual witness report. So that's what springs to mind there. But, animals are smarter than we think. So that's the first example. Now there's a second example of animals, I guess it's not necessarily being smarter, but having more facility than we think, and that is that gorillas will actually clap. And it's not all gorillas. One of the most studied gorillas hasn't been observed to clap in any meaningful way, but there's a certain kind of gorilla, and I can't remember what it is now, and I'm not going to look for it, but it's a kind of gorilla that has recently been observed in situations where the female will start clapping to get the attention of her, her silverback male, if she doesn't like something or if she thinks he needs to look into something, and that will bring him over.
Right.
He'll hear the clap and he'll come over. And she's also been noticed, the females have been noticed clapping to get the attention of their kids. And
now,
the kids
would that clap sound very similar to when your wife smacks you across the face for doing something to get your attention?
No, I wouldn't know. My wife's very sweet. She never smacks across the face. But it is something. We hear wood knocks out in the woods, and we think Bigfoot is using that to communicate back and forth. And then recently, Cliff Barackman, and this goes back even further than his post, but recently he had a post up talking about how that it's possible. If you cup your palms, you can make a kind of a deeper pop, and if you had really big palms, you might be able to get an even deeper pop, and it might sound a lot like somebody banging on a piece of wood.
Right.
So that was his speculation. And shortly after he puts up that post speculating that, comes news that gorillas actually clap to signal each other. So, if gorillas do it, what other large, hairy primates might do it?
Could be. Never know. Never know. That's good information, though. It's kind of cool to know that. I never really knew that, so very cool. So somebody must have observed them doing it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for the news, DB. I know everybody. I can't tell you how many emails I get from people that actually they actually look for. And I know you think I'm joking, but I'm not. They actually look forward to your news. So there you go. So,
the only emails I get are "Shut up."
All right. Well, thank you, DB. And without further ado, we've got a great guest tonight. We are going to welcome, and I've been asked to call her Donna Cohrs from Stocking Hominid Research Incorporated down in Florida. I'm sure that name sounds familiar to a lot of people. It's Diane's sister, and she's the co-founder of the group, so we want to welcome Donna to the show. Welcome to the show, Donna.
Hey, guys.
Good to hear from you. I'm glad that you're feeling well.
Thank you.
And just so you know, there may be a lot of folks here that may know who you are. There may be some folks here that don't know who you are. We have lately been getting quite a few new listeners. So what we will do, first off, is we will let you introduce yourself, let everyone know who you are, what you do, and, pretty much what got you started in this. I mean, did Diane hold a gun to your head and say, you're going to help me, or what happened?
Well, actually, it all started way back in the 70s when I was just a tiny child. Diane and I got interested, both of us together, because there was a lot of flats down in South Florida back in the early 70s, mid-70s.
Right.
And that's what got us interested. And two things that really come to mind as far as what really got me interested in. One was the show with Leonard Nimoy.
Uh-huh.
And the episode they had about Bigfoot, and when I saw the Patterson-Gimlin film, and then a book by Peter Byrne called Bigfoot.
Right.
It was a long time ago, and those are the things that really got me interested.
Right.
And from then on, it was a lot of book reading and whatever I could find about it, which back then, of course, there wasn't a whole lot. But since then, I've been into Bigfoot.
There you go.
I haven't been able to be out in the field in the last year. I've been able to be out a lot.
Right.
Before that, I think I was probably out in the field twice because of just circumstances in life. But that's what got me started.
All right. Very good. Well, I know that you guys have. How old is the actual group down in Florida?
Well, we started this a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years now.
Okay. And have you guys gotten quite a few sighting reports in? I mean, is there an average?
Some. It's still in its, as far as I'm concerned, in its infancy.
Mm-hmm.
But we have had contacts from people, sighting reports from people. You can go to the website, which is www.stockinghominidr.com,
okay.
and there's a couple things on there.
Right.
We haven't gotten a lot yet, but we're still building it up.
It takes time. It really
Yes,
does.
It does. Yes, it does, especially when you work full-time and go to school full-time. And
come on. I mean, you're not making a killing? I mean,
right.
everybody says that I'm making tons of money doing this.
Right. Yeah, sure.
DB is. He's just being quiet about it and doesn't say anything to anybody.
Of course.
So.
Yeah, we're all
rich.
Come on now. I can't tell you how many emails I get saying that you guys, this is a money-making scheme. you all are out to, because we're selling all these shirts,
Right. Yeah. Sure you are.
Let's see, I think my last shirt order was back last year.
Yeah. For like 5, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. No, it's. I wish I wish a person could make a living off this. Of course, I guess some people can, but we won't go there.
Right.
But
No, we won't go there.
You have to be, in my opinion. I mean, if you're doing this, you got to be honest about what you're doing and not making up stories. So. True. But that's a whole other story for another show.
Right.
Well, since we've pretty much got a full house in the chat, I figure this is probably the best opportunity to real quickly do some shout-outs, because my understanding is we have a few birthday people.
Yes, we do.
So I had asked Donna to sing Happy Birthday tonight, but she refused to do it.
I'd scare you guys off. Everybody would just quit. No, you don't want that.
So we'll just say, give a big happy birthday out, first of all, to Eric Altman. He won't let me know how old he is. So he's old, folks.
I can tell you.
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
Oh, man, we can let the cat out of the bag.
39.
He's younger than I am.
He's a youngin', man. Yeah, I know. He's just a youngin'.
That's no fair. DB, we got to do something about this. He's not allowed to be younger than I am.
He's just a baby.
You want me to ban him? That's all I got.
I mean, well, DB, you ain't got a lot of room to talk, DB. I mean, you're like 38.
No, I'm 45. Now, I'm not embarrassed about it either, because I look good for 45.
See, I was trying to help you out, DB, and then you went and
I can't be helped. I'm beyond help.
So happy birthday to Eric Altman. Also,
happy birthday!
Yep. Also, Linda Wilkinson. She's celebrating a birthday this week, as well as Mr. Scott Oball, who's in the chat room as well. So all you folks, happy birthday. It's let's see here. You know what? I didn't look to see if there is so many people in the chat room. I can't even scroll down and see if Linda's in here. But anyway, happy birthday to you folks, and wanted to make sure we got that out there. Has there been any questions that I've missed there, DB, from the chat room?
Not that I have seen.
Okay. Right off the bat, we'll let everyone know that we do have a call-in number if you've got a question for Donna. The call-in number is 347-237-5070. I'll repeat that. It is 347-237-5070. Now, basically, Donna, what we'll do now is just get your opinions, and everyone's got opinions, because we don't know what we're dealing with.
Okay.
What is your opinion on what you think this creature we all call Bigfoot is?
I think it is a hominid.
Okay.
More towards human than anything else.
Okay.
I think it is just another human species living at the same time as we are.
Right.
It's pretty much that simple.
Right. Now, would you lean towards Neanderthal, or do you think that's out of the question?
No, I don't think it's Neanderthal. I think it is a separate species from Neanderthal.
Okay.
I think it is a separate species from Cro-Magnon. I think it's a separate species altogether.
Right.
That it just happens to be existing with us at the same time.
Right.
Now, whether I cannot even speculate on its evolutionary line.
Right.
But it's been around for a very long time.
Yep.
And I just think it's another human species that's coexisting with us.
Okay. DB, did I see a question scroll through there?
DB?
I'm on mute. Sorry, I was talking. I actually didn't see the question. I was I was running off at the fingers about something else.
Let me see if I find
So
it.
did you see one? Because I don't see one just yet.
Crypto Seeker.
Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is.
Got it? Okay, go for it.
Crypto Seeker says, Donna, have you found any good tracks recently?
Well, yeah. Yeah, Carol Ann, I have, and we were together when we saw them. A couple times, actually. The last little trip I took, and Carol Ann was there, we saw a track in the middle of a dirt road that was, there was also bear tracks on this road, but this wasn't a bear track. It looked like actual toes, no claw marks, heel marks. It was small. It was only about 10 and a half, 11 inches long and 5 inches wide. But there was another, what we think was a footprint, a track in the same, that it correlated with the direction that the first track was, and it was on the uphill bank on the side of the road going into the woods, and it looked like a heel, and I don't know, I guess you'd call it a toe slide.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And it was also 10 and a half, 11 inches long.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Now, the distance between these two prints was about 8 foot.
Okay. That's, oh, wow. That thing must have been in a run.
Yeah, that's what we were thinking. And before that one, I got a couple pictures. One was what looked like a knuckle print, and one was a footprint. And that's on the website also.
Cool.
But in this, they aren't real clear because the footprint and the knuckle print were in mud.
Mm-hmm.
They were 3.5 inches deep, full of water. So, and it was overcast, and so I'm actually amazed that anything actually came out in the picture.
Right.
But those are also on the website.
That's one thing I've always had a problem with. I mean, it's so much easier to see the prints when you're out there in person, but when you try everything to get an angle or whatever on the track, it's hard to get tracks to show up in pictures. I mean, unless they're, obviously deep, in
right.
mud, but
yeah, and no water, no darkness. I mean, this was black mud too.
Yeah, it makes it worse.
A lot worse.
Oh man. Well, y'all have. I mean, you probably have a lot of. I mean, you got a lot of swampland down there too, right?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of wetlands.
Yep.
Yeah, it's fun.
So, what is your opinion on Diane's favorite subject, the three-toed prints?
Well, you know what? I have to agree with her on one point that a lot of the ones that are seen are more than likely alligator prints.
Right.
Because the ones I've seen, they don't have the shape, really,
mm-hmm.
of, I guess what you'd call your basic Bigfoot track.
Yeah, because the heel looks kind of skinnier, doesn't it?
Yeah, a lot skinnier.
Yeah, kind of triangular.
Not in proportion.
Right.
Right. So and it's not in proportion. And there's a sharpness to the end of the toes.
Right.
Not sharp as in a claw, just a sharpness and it's not a rounded, as much of a rounded,
Right.
So I'm one of those people that believe anything can be out there. So if there's a three-toed Sasquatch out there, great. But the pictures I've seen look to me like either gator or some kind of a bear track that was messed up.
Right.
That's just me.
All right, back to you, DB. I see questions.
I see one from Andy Drew here. It's, what is your preference for casting materials?
You know what? I've never cast anything in my entire life.
Well, then.
All them prints you found, Donna, and you ain't never casted. Come on now. Don't.
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. And it's one of the situations where, okay, you didn't bring the casting material while you were out there.
Right.
Okay. And I've only seen a very few prints. Very few.
Right.
So it's,
I know it's hard to find that nice, perfect print that you've been looking for to cast.
Yeah, and even if I had the casting material with me in the picture that the print that I found in the mud, there's no way that thing was going to take.
Oh,
and it was in 3.5 inches of water.
Yeah.
And the one that we found out on the road recently, it wasn't good enough to probably even take a track, a cap.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So, as far as casting material, don't know.
Right. Now, DB, I have a funny feeling that there's some type of cryptic message in Bruce's question.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously aimed at either making Donna laugh or making her mad. I mean, I don't know which it could be, though. Creature Seeker wants to know, what kind of tracks a king crab leaves.
Oh, jeez.
Only Bruce.
All right, yeah, only Bruce. Now, you ask him why he wants to know.
Type it in the chat, Creature.
Yeah, type it in the chat, because
I want to know why you asked that question. Was there another one in there, DV?
Yeah, we got a couple more. I mean, there's there's a couple of standard ones. I think this might be a good opportunity to get John Cartwright's question in, which is, who do you think is the best Bigfooter in the world?
Oh, jeez.
Now, you know who he wants you to say, right?
All right, just for him, I'm going to say he is.
You just made his day.
And he owes you now.
Make his day, yes. JC is the best Bigfoot researcher, hunter out there. All right, let's see if I get a message here. Say, yeah, I'm expecting something from him.
All right, well, there's Creature's answer.
What?
Where did it go? I saw it a second.
It says, like the king crab you girls had at Pitzer's. I don't know. Is he talking about how much you ate? Is he making a joke that you ate a lot of king crabs?
No. He was the one that ate all the crab.
Oh,
okay. He likes to, it's funny how he always makes
like 2 plates.
Right, he always makes a joke about what everyone else eats, but when it comes right down to it, he's the one that usually ends up coming over and eating it all.
Well, yeah, but he did share his crab with us.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And whatever you do, don't never leave your window open to your cabin and have chocolate pie in the fridge.
Oh, it's gone.
Because he'll pull the screen off the window and climb in and get it. So you got to be careful with him.
Yeah. I learned that. Love you, Bruce.
Was there any other questions in there, DB?
Got a couple more.
All right.
I'm just going to finish typing this. Okay, Bill Green wants to know if you've been investigating any recent sightings.
Well, yeah, and I think we're going to get into that a little bit later, right?
Yep, we'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
All right, you hear that, Bill? Keep on listening because they're going to get into it.
There you go.
There's one more. Connie G wants to know, how long have you been doing this, which you might already have touched on earlier, and how close have you been to a Bigfoot?
Well, I talked about that earlier. I've been, like book researching, computer research and stuff like that since I was like 12, 14, something like that. But I've only been out in the field a lot in the last year. Before that, I'd only been out a couple times in probably the 10 years before that.
Right.
So, and what was the rest of the question?
How close have you been to one?
Yeah.
Oh, that's also going to be covered in the little, what we're going to discuss in a little bit about my latest experience.
Everybody hang tight. Your questions will be answered.
Well, that's right.
And there was that one time, and the pictures on the website, I was about 40 feet away from what I pretty darn sure was a Bigfoot in a tree trunk, a juvenile.
Right. Very cool.
We got one more.
Okay.
Are you ready for this one?
I'm ready.
Tukra wants to know if you are the good twin or the evil twin.
Oh, no, come on. We're both good. Stop that.
Wasn't my question.
Really
That was Tukra's question.
We really are. We're both good twins.
Oh, goodness sakes. All right, we got a caller.
Okay.
And I am pretty certain I know who this caller is. Is this Mr. Henry May?
Yeah, and Bill Green is also with me.
All right, how y'all doing tonight?
Oh, we're doing
Donna.
just fine. Hey, Donna, honey.
Hi, honey.
Hey, Donna, is muggy weather down there in Florida?
Not really. It's not that bad right now. It's surprisingly not too bad. It's
Yeah, Donna, I got just one question to ask you. What's your take about how Hollywood handles all about Bigfoot and cryptozoology animals?
How Hollywood handles it?
Yeah.
I really don't care how Hollywood handles it. Well, really, because it's just Hollywood. It's they're in it for the profits and the box office, and I really don't care what they think about it or how they deal with it.
Yeah, I know they always depict the creature as angry and going to kill you and
right. Yeah. So I know
Billy, there's I'm sorry. There's 2 movies coming out tomorrow on DVD. One's called The Wild Man in Navidad, and the other one's called Blood Forest, about Bigfoot. Both horror movies.
Yep. I heard about the first one.
And I'm not going to mention this, but I'll give a little hint. This is the week we all have to be vigilant. So I'm not going to go through it. Everybody in the forums is going bonkers already. And I'm trying to, so it's just like this, it's just like that. Let's all be vigilant. I know that's not going to work out, Oh, heck, the Georgia hoax, the anniversary, this is,
We knew Bill was going to bring it up.
Well, Billy, it's already been mentioned all over the forums. That's how
I know.
Okay.
Now, Bill, is it you mentioning it all over the forums, or
No,
coming up independently?
No, everybody's mentioning all over the forums already. They're all freaking out. So, DD, what's new with your research?
My research? I'm researching how to find some chocolate pie right now. It isn't going very well.
I think Bruce already got there and bought it out.
Hang on, I have a question. For Donna. Hang on.
Okay.
Bill, just hang in there. Hold your horses. I wanted to ask Donna about the substrate of Florida. I was born there, but I'm not all that familiar with the substrate. How good is the substrate for holding tracks? And do you think there's a possibility? And I'm just throwing this out there as a hypothetical. But there's a possibility that the tracks, the 3-toed tracks, could also be perhaps of tracks that are missing, or toes that are missing, I should say.
Oh yeah, that's a good possibility too. I'm not gonna say anything is possible, and the 3-toed tracks could be of one that has two toes missing, and that's a definite possibility. Sure. And the substrate in Florida, you've got it all. You've got clay up in the northwest. You've got mud, you've got swamp, you've got sugar sand, you've got hard-packed dirt. You name it, and we've got it. Honestly, because the state of Florida, there are so many different environments within this state. It covers everything, from North Florida, Tallahassee area, Panhandle, all the way down to South Florida. It covers everything you can imagine. Did you know we have hills in Florida?
Wow.
Oh.
Big hills, yes, up in the Panhandle. Big hills. And the north part of Georgia is a lot like the north part of Florida is a lot like South Georgia.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you always think of Florida as flat.
Yeah.
You
No,
know.
it's not. It's not. Most of it is, but
Yeah.
once you get up past Central Florida, you start getting some hills.
Right.
Yeah. And it's beautiful down
Well-
there. And you've got green stuff and, well, most of Florida, as far as if you're not in a big city, is green.
Mm-hmm.
Thick. It's
Right.
Wow.
green.
That's pretty
I know I
interesting.
don't care for the Tampa area.
No, neither do I.
The last time I was in Tampa, I got eat up by fire ants.
Ooh.
How did that happen?
Well, all right, we won't go there, okay? You know, here the bad thing is I saw it and just didn't think about it. You know, I saw the mound
And you stepped in it.
and I basically kicked it and you know,
that-
kind of kept going. Well, let me tell you something.
Way
I was
longer.
in a hotel. We were having I was down there for a class for doing environmental site assessments and stuff for ASTM.
Uh-huh.
And so we're talking about a commercial area, a lot of traffic. Well, let me tell you something. The pants came off in the middle of the road, and I'm not kidding. The pants
No,
came
I
off,
believe
and
you.
I was jumping up and down, you know, banging my feet on the road trying to get the ants to come off. I mean, they were tearing me up.
Yeah.
And I will, you know, it was really stupid because I saw the ant hill and just didn't even think anything about it.
Not a good thing.
My
honey.
wife was laughing, of course.
Oh, yeah, I would have been too.
So. But yeah, that was a few years ago. Never again.
No, never again. Yeah, got a lot of those down here.
Oh.
Carol Ann said the state bird is a mosquito.
I might agree with that around here.
I think that's the unofficial state bird of a lot of states.
Yeah, Carol Ann, you got that right. Yeah.
Anyway, I that's pretty much all the questions I wanted to ask Donna, and you take care of yourself. Be careful
Okay,
out there.
thanks.
Thanks for
All
calling,
right,
Henry.
honey.
No problem.
Bye.
See y'all later.
Okay.
Bye. Any more questions there, Mr. Donlin?
Yes, we do have some more. From Ted P10, he wanted to know, where in Florida is Donna's research?
Mostly Central Florida.
Uh-huh.
All right.
I can't really tell you any. Well, the Central Florida area, and then also down in the Green Swamp, which a lot of people research there.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But mostly Central Florida.
Okay. And Watch One wanted to know, what in your research leads you to believe that Bigfoot is human?
Oh, by the way, Mike, hi, honey. Long time no talk to you. Its characteristics, its physiology, as an example, we don't know if Neanderthal had hair. He may have.
Right.
Not that I'm saying that, you know, Bigfoot is a descendant of Neanderthal.
Right.
But there's just too many similarities between us and Bigfoot that makes me think that they are another human species.
All right.
And Kite Squatch wanted to know, in reference to the trunk photo, how close were you, and did you see the creature going into or out of the tree?
I was 40 feet away, and no, I did not.
Okay.
Yeah, we were just walking around in the woods, and I just, you know, looked over, and I saw this tree trunk, and I looked back, and I'm thinking, okay, there's something in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I took a couple pictures, and I was getting that feeling, you know, that you get.
Right.
And that was it. No, and I did not go up to the tree because if this thing was in the tree and I started going towards it, it was going to feel cornered, and I did not want to deal with that.
Right. Well, since we're discussing it, I guess
Mm-hmm.
it's probably a good idea for you to go ahead and just give us the story, because I guess that's what we were going to discuss.
Okay. About my recent experience?
Yep.
Okay. This was the weekend of July 24th, 25th. It was Carol Ann, Charles, myself, and Pat Rance. We had gone out. Everybody, well, the Friday night, this is when stuff started to happen. Nothing happened really during the day. In the evening, however, in the early evening, it was dark. We heard a pig squealing and thrashing around, like it was dying, not too far from the camp. I can't estimate distances really good, but it was really close. And then it was like just abrupt silence.
Right.
So we figured, okay, this thing was dinner for something. Later on that night, it was about 11:30. I was the only one still awake, and I was just sitting by the fire, listening to the owls. One owl would call, another owl would call. They'd call back and forth, and then another owl joined in. But this owl sounded different, and it was, I got to say this, it was almost funny, because it was sounding like an owl, but it wasn't an owl, and you could tell because the other two owls were calling. And it was like, okay, this is funny, because he's trying to mimic the owls, but he's not quite getting it.
Right.
Okay? Yeah, and it was a lot louder than the other owls, too. I call it the 400-pound owl. Now, this went on for a little while, okay, and then probably 5 minutes. But then the sound changed, okay. A real owl would call, and the other would call back, and then I would hear a very, very deep, drawn-out vocalization. It was very loud. It was very deep. And then the owls called back again. I heard it again. It happened like 3 times. And then it stopped. And so did the owls. And it was like dead silence. Then I started hearing whistles. It was sets of 3 whistles. They were very short and soft. Okay, like
Right.
Okay. The first set of whistles came from the tree line just east of the camp. The next set came from the northeast, and the third set came from the north, which was not too far from where my tent was set up.
Right.
Well, I called it a night pretty quick, so that was it. Yeah, I said, okay, that's it. I'm going to bed.
Right.
Now, the next day, early afternoon, all of us were just walking around, checking things out. We were pretty close to camp. We heard a really, really, really deep voice say what sounded like hello. And Carol Ann returned a hello back in English and then also in Cherokee, but we didn't get any response. Okay. That was where we saw the prints on the road that I described earlier.
Right.
Like I said before, also we didn't make any casts of them or anything like that.
Right.
Later, after we had gotten back, we went back to camp and just socialized for a little while.
Right.
One thing about those tracks, Pat noticed that there were little raindrop marks inside the tracks. So we concluded from that probably the prints were made at the tail end of a rain shower.
Right.
And then dried out. But down the road a ways from where we heard the hello.
Right.
Okay, and then later that night, we went out to one of Pat's new sites. We got there around 8 o'clock.
Right.
It was really, really rough getting to this place.
Right.
I mean, it was really muddy. The road couldn't even be called a road. It was more like a track. There was water in the road, really dense. The brush was very high also. You know, like the grasses and the bushes and stuff, they were pretty high.
Mm-hmm.
We got to the location, you know, parked the vehicles off the road about 30 feet from this little dirt track. And then we just, you know, got out of the trucks and started talking and looking around and just listening, you know, what you usually do when you go out. About a little over an hour later, Carol Ann walked to the dirt track to make a soft call, okay?
Right.
Now, after she made the call, she heard something walking, bipedal, walking toward her from the brush right across the dirt track from her. So she came back to get her night vision. At the same time, Pat had passed her to go down to the dirt track to talk to somebody on his cell phone. And he came right back and said the same thing. Something's walking toward us from the brush.
Right.
So at that point, we all went down there, okay?
Right.
And there was something definitely in there.
Right.
And it seemed very curious about us.
Mm-hmm.
We could hear footsteps in the underbrush, and it was heading to our left. So we slowly walked kind of with it to stay with it.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of times I actually heard a footfall, you know, like a thump.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't really loud, but it was a thump, a footfall. It was right parallel with the road, and it sounded like it was only a few yards from us, back in the bush, in the brush. We saw little snippets of red eye shine. That was my best guesstimate is like 7 feet tall, okay? But it was just little snippets of red eye shine. But a few times we could see. It's one of the things where like you see it out of the corner of your eye, the peripheral vision. It's like a vague, shadowy something.
Mm-hmm.
We saw that moving in the brush. And like I said, it was only a few yards from us. I probably don't want to know how close it was, because I probably... Yeah. And then after, I don't know, this went on for like 7 or 8 minutes, and then we didn't hear any movement at all. Hung around for a while, didn't see anything or hear anything, so we headed out and went to another one of Pat's sites. And the area that we went to, the second site, was the same as the first one.
Right.
Muddy, dense underbrush, all that stuff. Got there about 10:20, 10:30, and we parked the trucks, hung out. Pat did a couple of calls. A little while later, Carol Ann did a couple of calls. We didn't get any responses. Pat and Charles then thought they heard what may have been a possible wood knock.
Uh-huh. So
they walked off to listen to investigate that. And about 11 o'clock, Carol Ann and I were just standing there, talking, stuff like that.
Right.
And I did a call, and a few seconds later, Carol Ann and I heard a response to the call from the far distance. Now, my echo had already ended, so it wasn't the echo. This was after the echo had already faded when we heard this response back. And Pat and Charles didn't hear because they were still off investigating the wood knock. And that's about it. We didn't hear or see anything after that, so we headed back to camp.
Now, was this all in like one weekend?
Yeah.
I tell you what, man,
that was Friday and a Saturday.
That's an exciting weekend.
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, I was pretty darn scared.
Yeah, you can sit here and people, you can say anything about, I would have done this, I would have done that. You really don't know how you're going to react until it happens to you.
Yeah.
I mean, you really don't. I mean, I can sit here and say, I would raise my camera up and snap a shot, but if you're seeing something that everyone has explained to you is this big, tall, 8-foot bipedal, hairy creature walking through the woods, and you see it within so many feet, you're probably going to be in so much awe and shock.
Yeah.
You may even forget you got a camera.
Yeah, and it was like, okay, my feelings at the time, Saturday, were, okay, this thing is this close.
Right.
Okay. I'm ready to see it.
Right.
No, I'm not. No, I'm ready to see it. No, Donna, no, you're not. And it was, I'm not ashamed to admit I was scared.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You just don't know. I mean, it's everybody, and I think everyone will react differently. DB, I bet poor old DB's probably been copying down all kinds of questions. I haven't even been paying attention to the chat.
I haven't either. I can't.
I didn't see any actually.
Okay.
There was one that might have been meant for you.
Okay.
But I couldn't tell.
Well,
shoot, it scrolled up, but it was about the tree.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Is this the same story you're talking about right now, where there's a Bigfoot that's in a tree? They wanted to know how did the
same
Bigfoot...
one.
Okay.
No.
Then it wasn't for you. For somebody else.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll let Donna take a little break.
Okay.
What we'll do is we'll go to a commercial break real quick and give you a little, couple minute breather there, Donna.
Thank you.
And as soon as we get back from these quick commercial breaks, we'll get right back into it.
All righty, I'll be here.
Be right back.
Okay.
You are listening to Sasquatch Watch Radio. Stay tuned. Paranormal Talk Radio, bi-monthly, Wednesday nights, 8 to 9 p.m. Central. Paranormal Talk Radio divas Melissa Hovey and Monica Rollins, never afraid to tell it like it is. Too hot for prime time. 60 minutes of take no shit, grab you by the balls. Paranormal Talk Radio. 8 to 9 p.m. Central, every other Wednesday night on Blog Talk Radio. Paranormal Talk Radio with an attitude.
figured I'd open the door and come back in.
Oh, okay.
Hey, I got to use the sound effects eventually.
Yeah, there you go.
I didn't know that was a door.
Did you like that?
I thought somebody had a bean burrito this afternoon, and it's the after effect.
Well, it's just a real squeaky door, you know.
Right.
I swear, it was just a squeaky door.
Yes, it was. I got that.
Okay.
Was there any questions while we were gone there, DB?
Not that I noticed.
Okay.
I've got a really big storm right outside of my house right now, so I'm probably going to disappear soon.
Yeah, well, I had it a while ago, so now it came down your way.
Yeah, it set off all the car alarms on my street. That's how loud that thunder is.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it was, as a matter of fact, I think it was affecting the phone line even worse than what it is right now. So, but anyway, okay, we'll get back to it. So, Donna, you had mentioned that you guys had seen some eye shine, and I've had people email me and ask questions and try to explain the red eye shine. What do you think? What do you think causes the red eye shine?
You know, that's a good question. The only thing I can think of is that there's something in the eyes that show reflection of light, and it doesn't take that much light to do it. It's like they're receptive to a minimal amount of light, even starshine or moonshine,
right,
for it to show up.
Right.
And I might be wrong. I probably am, but that's the only thing I can figure out is that it doesn't take much light,
right,
for the eyes to reflect light.
Right.
Now, I've also talked to people that say that the eyes, like, it's like turning a light switch, a dimmer switch, on higher, where it goes from dim to bright.
Right.
That I have no clue.
Right.
I can't even begin to theorize on that.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, DB. I think DB's getting ready to get busy. I've seen some questions.
Okay.
He's probably on mute.
Yeah, I was on mute there. And I was also finishing writing this last one down, and I've seen two. First is from Crypto Seeker, who asks, if you could research anywhere that you wanted to, where would it be?
Florida. Florida, Alabama, Mississippi. I'd like to visit the Pacific Northwest, but my true love is the Southeast.
Right.
Yeah. Because I'm in Florida. I love Florida.
Right.
And they're down here.
Yeah.
You know, and I know there's lots of, the Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, Texas, Oklahoma, that whole southeast kind of area. Of course, Texas isn't southeast, but anyway. But Florida is my first one.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, and Bobby Short asks, she wants to get a clarification there. Did you see the red eye shine where it seems to be projecting out, like it's glowing outward? It's not just a reflection, but it's causing a glow?
No. What I saw, it wasn't a glow, it was just a reflection.
Okay.
And it was just little snippets.
Right. In other words, it wasn't bright. It was just a red.
It was bright red. It almost looked like the little laser lights you see, okay? It looked like that bright and that red, but it was just little snippets, like it was not, looking directly at us, or it was like looking the corner of the eye, or just, out of the turning its head just a little bit, or I don't know what it was doing.
Right.
But that's what we saw.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was that red and that bright.
Oh, boy. DB's getting tons of questions now.
Okay.
Yeah, let me see if I can click this thing off so it doesn't scroll on me. Andy Drew wants to know, if you suddenly became filthy rich, what would you do differently in your research?
I'd buy a lot of equipment and quit my job.
Sounds good.
Duh. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'd quit my job and do full-time research.
All right.
Don't think that's going to ever happen, but it's a nice thought.
Well, you never know.
Yeah.
You know, we're all making millions doing this. Remember.
Yeah. Oh, right,
so,
right.
That's right.
Yes, we are. Yeah.
And Kite Squatch wants to know, does the population seem to be centered in any particular part of the state of Florida?
Well, that's hard to say. From the sighting reports, and there's a map on our website that shows sighting reports, little red dots on the map of Florida.
Mm-hmm.
It's Everglades all the way up through the St. Johns River Basin, and then the North Florida, Georgia border, kind of, and then there's some over in, not as many, but some over in the Panhandle. But the majority of them is from the Everglades, up the Kissimmee River Basin, Lake Okeechobee, and then up through the St. Johns Basin, which includes a lot of lakes and a lot of little side rivers, all the way up through Jacksonville.
Right.
It follows the water.
Right.
Right. Got another question from Foos Squatch.
Okay.
Have you investigated any sightings around Sebring, Florida?
I haven't heard of any. But to be honest with you, I don't have a lot of time to do a lot of, like I said, I work full-time, I go to school full-time, I've got kids, you know, I don't have a lot of time to research different sightings, and you guys might hate me for this, but BFRO is still the best place to go so far as sighting reports, so you might want to go to the BFRO site and see.
Right.
But I have not heard of any.
Okay.
Got another question.
Okay.
Alita AA wants to know, have you seen any pythons?
Pythons?
Yes.
Oh, sure. Yeah. We're in
You
Florida.
got a lot of those down there in Florida, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I watched a recent show on that, and you know, they swear up and down that a lot of these snakes are pets that have gotten loose.
Oh, yeah.
And are breeding with other snakes, and they're claiming that these things are moving up the East Coast to the north.
Well, they aren't even breeding with other snakes. There's so many that are just being let out into the wild.
Mm-hmm.
They're breeding, and they're really messing up the indigenous species here in Florida.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't want their job. I watched that one show, that guy that basically he just drives around and sees them crossing the road.
Yeah.
You know, this huge snake that stretches from one side of the road to the other. I tell you. Yeah, I'm sorry, Alita. That's what they're claiming. They're moving north. Alita said, "Don't say that."
Yeah. Oh, you don't have to worry about pythons. They're not going to hurt you.
Yeah, they're not poisonous, but
no, they're not poisonous.
Some people just don't
you're
like
too big.
Yeah.
You're too big for them to eat. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
No,
they're gonna go away from you before
What are you trying to say, Donna?
What?
Are you trying to say I'm overweight?
No. No. Heavens, no. I'm 120 pounds, and I'm too big for a python to eat, okay?
Just picking on
you.
Jeez. Let me grab this caller real quick, DB, and then we'll get back to your questions.
Okay.
Caller from the 352 area code, you're on the air.
Hey, Billy, it's Dan from Ocala, Florida.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Down there, neighbors with Donna.
Yeah, a little north of her.
Hey, Dan.
Hey. Yeah, Carol Ann does a real good Bigfoot call.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always wanted to get her on tape. I wanted to ask you, what do you think about a pretty big migration pattern up and down Florida?
Honestly, I really don't think they have a migration.
I
think they have a territory.
Well, let me tell you why I think this. I guess David down there, David Sasquatch there, he's going to start putting out flyers, and I've harped for years for people to put out flyers, little publications and newspapers.
Right.
And I do that up here. There's a paper all around through here, Peller's paper and some hunter magazines, and I keep flyers in them, and I've gotten as many as 6 calls in a 36-hour period in one spot, and just a few. I mean, when that report came out through Flat Island Preserve, we were just 2 miles from there because we were trying to jump ahead of it because of all the reports. But the other reason why I was calling, have you ever ran across any baby Bigfoot tracks?
No.
I thought I did one time in Gulf Hammock, and
you may very well have.
And somewhere where I wasn't supposed to be. And they were kind of yeah, we just got in trouble this week with Fish and Game. And because I get in spots just kind of hard to get into, I'm also wanting to know if being here in Florida, over 4th of July weekend, we got what can only be described as chest feeding. I was actually exchanging chest feeding with something in the woods, if she ever got anything that could be described as chest feeding.
I've never heard chest feeding myself.
Yeah, because I asked about it about 3-4 weeks ago, right after that in the chat room here, but then my laptop got hot and I had to log off.
Okay.
But yeah, Carol Ann does an excellent call. I got to get her on tape one time because I've only met her once and it was hilarious.
Oh, she's great. Love her to death.
All right, I'll let you go. I just want to know about that about any other tracks, small tracks and stuff. And
how big was the track that you saw, or how little was the track you saw?
6 inches. But what was unique about it? About it? Because I asked Mildred about this, because I've sent hair samples that we collected off sticks that's been broken off and thrown at us. And I really don't ride around with plaster casts, although I've casted tracks that I got in my research office. But it was boomerang shape, more of a C shape. Not really of a C, you know, but it was because of him, you know, with a mid-tarsal break, and I just photographed some beautiful tracks on a forest road up there in Ocala National Forest, about 2 miles from my camp. And I mean, that they were just gorgeous, and kind of scary because they were minutes old, because they were minutes old. But
I'd love to see those.
Yeah, I'm gonna put them on my MySpace profile, and because the only thing you got to do is Google Swamp Rat Dan, all one word, small letters, and even my MySpace. The search.
I don't do MySpace. I work for the county. I can't.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
They don't let you on?
Well, you can still look at photos on there for free. I joined for Billy. When Billy and somebody else started off with their radio show here on Monday nights, I joined for them. I had never had no intention of going there, and I went there to support this radio show.
Well, let me give you my email address if you want to email me.
I shortcut your page.
Oh, okay.
So somebody put it in the chat room, and I added it to my favorites. And,
good. Okay. You just email me.
Yeah, but I'm a little north of you. I was down there hunting Green Swamp a lot in 2004, 2005 when I found those tracks down there, and and me, Pastor Cass. But there's
Yeah.
just too many people coming behind you down. I found an area, and next thing I know, I had every other researcher there. I made the mistake of saying, this is where I'm at, and next thing you know, I got 50 people there.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. That does tend to happen.
Yes, it does.
But are you getting together with everybody down there in October?
Huh?
Are you getting together with everybody down there in October? I guess David's getting everybody together in October.
Yeah, he's got a family and friends meet and greet kind of thing going on. No, I won't be able to go because of my schoolwork.
All right, well, I'll clear up the line.
All right,
it's good talking to you.
Yeah, thanks for calling in, Dan.
Yeah, nice meeting you. Keep up the good work there, Bill.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, I'll go ahead and mention the phone number again if anyone wants to call in. It is 347-237-5070. Again, 347-237-5070. How many questions you got over there, DB?
I have exactly none.
Oh, okay. I thought you had some.
Wait. I just saw something. John Cartwright, tell Donna I bought a new tent. Good for you, JC.
He would like you to share the tent with him.
Yeah, sorry, Miss Green. Love you, honey, but no.
You knew that was his next question, right?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
Oh, my goodness. Did I see another question scanned by DB? Where did it go?
I haven't noticed one.
Dr. Onion wants to know.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. Donna, what
in
are
big
you
red
studying?
letters, too.
Yeah. You missed it. Yeah, Donna, what are you studying in school? Went back to school to get the bachelor's degree in software engineering.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's not easy, but I'm hoping I can make lots of more money when I get finished.
There you go. Good deal.
Yeah.
All right, DB. Now I'm going to have to pull my questions out here since we don't have any other questions coming from the chat. Donna, what do you think about stick structures? Do you think Bigfoot constructs stick structures?
Yes.
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 Do you have an opinion on what their meaning is or what their purpose is?
They could be warning markers as far as, boundary markers.
Mm-hmm.
And they can be directional markers.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Same way that people do.
Right. I see DB's got another question.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Dr. Onion asks, do you have to take any physics classes?
Thank God, no. No. It's a lot of, it's information technology, it's computer stuff, it's programming languages, it's project management for computer team project things, okay? But no, not a lot of math. It's mostly computer languages.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Donna, where do you think these things go in the daytime?
Well, they stick around their territory.
Okay. You just think they're pretty much probably staying in areas that people don't frequent.
Well, I think most of them do the same thing.
Right.
Because they don't want to be too close to humans.
Right.
And they're in the same areas in the daytime as they are at night.
Okay.
But I think they are mostly nocturnal.
Mm-hmm.
But they are out during the daytime.
Right. Yeah, I know a lot of folks theorize that they probably have sort of a home range.
Yeah.
Kind of a travel distance or whatever you want to call it to
Right.
go out for food and water and things.
Right. Yeah, they have a territory pretty much like any other mammal on Earth.
Right.
If they have a migratory path, I think it's going to be within that territory.
Mhm.
And the territory could be, hundreds of square miles. We don't know, and I don't know, and that's just my theory.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, if it's going to be, they're going to follow where the best water and food sources are, depending on what time of the year it is.
Right.
And in Florida, that's and I've only researched in Alabama, Mississippi, and Florida. So I don't know, the environment real good in the rest of the country.
Mhm.
But in Florida, I mean, you can travel, 60 miles and be in a totally different environment.
Right.
Actually, you can travel 40 miles and be in a totally different environment.
Right.
So I think they travel within their territory, depending on the food source, water source, at whatever given time of the year it is.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, DB, any more questions?
Yes, one from Sasquatch here. Has Donna been on any recent outings with Darren Bishop lately?
Yes, I have. Yep. Darren's a great researcher. He is a fantastic researcher. And a lot of the things I've had experienced have been when Darren and I have gone out researching together. A lot of stuff. And I can tell you about it if you want me to.
Go for it.
Okay. Okay, one particular time we were at it, this spot that we researched, and it was very wet, cypresses and cypress knees, water, and we were on like this little point of land where the little creek, which is probably 20 feet across, split. Okay, and we were just there. We had some night vision, looking around and stuff, and I had made a call. Well, wait, let me back up. Before we went back into that area, we were out in the field.
Mm-hmm.
Before we got to this area, and we had heard. The only thing I can say is that it was a cross between a puppy yip and monkey chatter.
Okay.
It wasn't two separate sounds. It was a combination of the two.
Right.
And we heard this. It went on for probably a minute. And it was right in the tree line, right inside the tree line from where we were.
Right.
Then, after that night and another night, we had gone back in the area where it was the creek had split off, and we were on that little point, and we were just sitting around and stuff. And Darren's son was with us, and I had done a couple of whoop calls,
Mm-hmm.
and we heard footsteps. And like I said, I'm not good with distance, but I'm thinking it was probably no more than 30 feet away from us in the woods.
Wow.
And then we heard a very loud huff sound, like a deer huff sound.
Yep.
But very, very loud.
Mm-hmm.
And I did another whoop call. We then heard a huge crash, either like a tree had fallen or something had been tossed onto the ground. It was just a huge crash.
Right.
And then we heard the footsteps, probably 4 steps, run to our, I'm not good with directions, I'll just say to our right.
Right.
And it probably went, I don't know, 60 feet and 4 steps.
Wow.
Something like that, because it was like right in front of us, and then it was directly to our right.
Right.
And then we didn't hear anything. We stuck around for a while longer, didn't hear anything else. and so we left.
Right.
Another time in that same general location, it wasn't that same area, we were just driving down the road, going to our area, and we smelled a dead animal smell, very, very strong dead animal smell. So we stopped and backed up, and right where we smelled it, there was a little itty-bitty culvert that went under the road, too small for anything to be in it.
Right.
I couldn't even fit in it. But that's where the smell was originating, but there was no dead animal. The smell was there, but there was no dead animal.
Right.
And there was, adjacent to the road right there, a fence and then a plowed field with some scattered little trees all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden the smell just kind of dissipated.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now, was there like thick woods and stuff there where you couldn't really see?
No.
No?
Where, adjacent to the road where we smelled it,
Mm-hmm.
on the side of the road that we smelled it, there was a plowed field and then just trees every so often, like a couple trees right next to the fence line, a couple little bushes, and then off, just sporadic trees and little bushes and stuff.
Okay.
Now, on the other side of the road, there was thick brush and trees and a small stream.
Mm-hmm. So it's possible something could have been on that side that you may have smelled.
But the thing is, we smelled it mostly on the side where the field, the cleared field was.
Right.
Not on the other side of the road.
Right.
And then it just kind of dissipated. It just went away.
Right.
But there were no dead animals. We went, 200-300 yards back and forth along that road trying to find a dead animal, but we couldn't find one.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm sure there's other stuff that. Oh yeah, and it was in that same area, that same general area on the road where we smelled it, but a couple of miles farther down, that we were just sitting in the truck on the side of the road, and I made a call and I got a response. Now we had been hearing coyotes, but this was not a coyote.
Right.
And it responded back twice.
Wow.
So, and that's Central Florida area.
Right.
Yeah. So I've had some. We had weird owl calls at us, Darren and I, and that was about the same area where I had the response. We had an owl, one of those 400-pounders. Call from one side of the road, which was in the brushy tree, area, and then we had a response from it was a cow field where we were, and we had a response from that side of the road where the cow field was, which was just tall grass and trees sporadically.
Right.
And this thing couldn't have been more than. I mean, it was right there. I can't tell you distance. It was just right there.
Right.
And it was on the ground.
Right.
Now, we didn't see anything, and I guess it could have been an owl, but it was awfully darn loud, and it was loud.
Right.
Yeah, so.
DB's had a couple of good questions come across. So I'm gonna give him the floor now.
Okay.
Well, I had one from Ted P10, which was, and you were talking about. This is from a while back when you were talking about stick formations, and he wanted to know if you were finding stick formations within.
What was that now? All right, I just got blanked off.
Uh-oh, did we lose DB?
I think we lost him.
DB, I think we lost you if you're still there or not. Yep, I think we lost him.
Oops.
The lightning must have struck.
I guess so.
I'm still showing him. I'm still showing him on the switchboard, but I don't hear him. So.
Okay.
Till we wait on him to call back, I'll ask you the one that I saw here. Where'd it go? There was one. Scott wanted to know if any of those sounds were recorded. Were y'all recording?
No, we weren't.
Okay.
And you know something? Yeah, I'm sorry, guys, but I'm one of those researchers. I go out and, we'll have a recorder, but, and I should record these things, but I don't.
Right.
Because if I hear it, I hear it, and if I tell people about it, and they believe me, great. If they don't, okay, well, oh well. Because, I know what I hear, and I know what I see. You know? It's the same with, filming and stuff. Because the minute I take a camera out or the minute I take the recorder out, nothing's going to happen.
Right. Okay, I think DB's back.
DB? Hello, DB?
Actually, I'm back. I'm just waiting.
Oh, okay.
Making a little dramatic pause there. Excite a few of the people in the ranks out there, because I just read what they wrote and they saw that I was gone.
Okay.
Now listen, I was trying to tell you about Ted P10's question. Did you hear that before I disappeared?
Not the whole question.
Okay. He wanted to know, are there any stick formations inside stick formations when you find stick formations?
No, not the ones I've found. I've only found a few, and actually I've only found 3.
Okay.
And no, there are no stick formations inside of stick formations, the ones I've found.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, got another one.
Okay.
You might have gotten this one while I was gone, I don't know. D-Law asked, do you and Diane ever compare notes now, since she's in the Pacific Northwest while you're in Florida, to talk about similarities and differences between the Sasquatch in the two areas?
Yeah, and we do. And, Diane and I also have differences of opinion when it comes to different theories. And, we discuss, and I think she feels the same way. The Bigfoot in the Pacific Northwest is different than the Bigfoot in Florida. They from what we've, just talked about, I think they're bulkier up there,
Mm-hmm.
and they have more of an athletic build down here,
Right.
and more than likely that has to do with just the environment.
Right.
It's a lot colder up there.
Mm-hmm.
And animals would need more bulk and size. Just like deer up north are a whole lot bigger than deer down here.
Right. That's
so
cool.
and we talk about stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
You ready for another
we also
question?
have our differences in opinion.
Yeah.
Sure.
Just because we're twins doesn't mean that we have the same exact opinion.
Right.
But that's what makes it interesting.
Right.
Yeah, I have twin sons, and they couldn't be any more different if they tried.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised you might have differences of opinion. Well,
Yeah.
Watch One wants to know if anybody, this was directed to any of us, have heard of anything about a candy smell associated with Bigfoot. And I haven't heard of candy, but I do know that I think it's Stan Courtney tells about smelling a sweet cinnamon smell when some Bigfoot stuff is going down. Anybody else got any candy smell stories?
I've never heard of a candy smell, but I have heard of a floral smell.
Okay. Now I have not. I have to admit I have not experienced it, and I haven't heard of anyone experiencing it. But that is interesting. Very interesting.
Has he smelled this?
Well, hopefully he'll let us know. I don't know.
I don't know. That was Watch One. Watch One. If you have something more you can add to that, go right ahead.
JC said he'll agree to it if candy smells like poop.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Lord. Oh, okay.
JC likes to raise the level of the discourse as often as he can.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
D-Law asks a question, how did Donna learn to do calls, or does she do call blasting?
No, I do not do call blasting. And actually, I do calls. I've heard other people do calls, and I've listened to a lot of recorded calls, and that's really where I got my calls from.
Okay.
And I don't think it's that much different probably than what a lot of people do.
Yeah. All right. Can y'all believe that we have almost exhausted 90 minutes?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Goes fast.
It does. It really does. I mean, remember when we were doing 60 minutes, DB? It's like we didn't even have time to ask the questions. I mean, it was just crazy. And now we're doing 90 minutes, and it still flies by.
Well, I guess I did have enough to talk about, huh, guys?
You had plenty to talk about, Donna. Plenty to talk about.
And I was so nervous.
Well, we couldn't tell.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Done a great job. Now, DB, did you have any other questions before we get ready to start wrapping it up?
I have not seen it.
All right.
So John Cartwright is continuing to elevate the discourse by saying Billy took his pants off and is jumping. Now, I don't know why he said that, but...
Thank you, JC.
Yeah.
Too much information.
I know. Thanks a lot. That's okay. That's okay, JC.
Let me do another blog, plug for our website.
Go ahead.
www.stockinghominidr.com.
Stockinghominidr.com. I just stuck it in there.
And there's not a lot on there, but there's stuff on there that would maybe interest people.
All right.
It's still in production.
Very good. Well, Donna, thank you so much for agreeing to come on the show. We appreciated it and enjoyed having you.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
And who knows, we may want to get you back on soon, and we hope you'd accept our invitation.
I would love to. As long as I have something to talk about, I'll be happy to.
All right. Well, you had plenty tonight, so I think you were just worrying over nothing.
I know. I guess I was. But thanks, guys. I really appreciate the invite.
Yeah. Well, thanks a lot, Donna, and we will talk to you again soon.
Okay. Everybody have a good night.
Probably see you sometime soon at another conference.
I hope so.
Good night, Donna.
Good night.
All right,
Bye-bye.
DB, good night. All right, DB, we've wrapped up another one.
Yep.
So I can't think of anything that I wanted to bring out other than, JC, all these comments you've made tonight, just keep in mind and remember that I will be spending some time with you out in the woods come weekend of October 2nd, so... payback.
The chickens will come home to roost. Oh, he's already scared.
Well, another great show. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in tonight. Stay tuned to your emails or however you get news of our radio show. We'll be announcing our next guest or our next subject for the show. So thanks for everyone for listening. DB, I guess we'll wrap it up and say good night to everybody.
Yeah, well, I just want to mention one thing that I remembered just now because this is like what he was talking about. But Stan Courtney wrote to me and he said, I've been listening to your shows. I can't listen live because I'm doing something, so I listen to it. He downloads it and he listens to it while he's like driving and stuff. And he says his favorite part is when after the show is over, when you and I start discussing something. So he wanted us to do that more often. But obviously we'll think of absolutely nothing to discuss now, but except that he liked that part.
Well, that's I guess you could call that a summation of the show. Maybe Stan wants us to get like who's that talk show host that does that after every show? A guy that's really gotten very controversial. Jerry Springer.
Oh, I haven't been paying attention to the top or the real talk show host people.
Well,
I mean, the last talk show host I remember is Oprah from 20 years ago.
With your kids, you would not be watching Jerry Springer, trust me.
Okay.
So. But yeah, he usually does that after every show. I mean, as ridiculous as most of his shows are, right at the end, he always has this little, summary, and this, I guess it's his way of giving you some pointers at the end of the show. So maybe that's what Stan likes. He likes to hear our pointers.
Well, one thing we could talk about, one pointer we could point out is that our show has been going for almost a year, and we've never had a repeat guest, although we did have Hugh who didn't show up once, and then he did actually show up a little later on.
Right.
But we've never had a repeat guest. We've never missed a night, although one of the two of us has often or occasionally been missing. I was missing last week, and but we've kept it going. When we first started talking about this, I thought to myself, yeah, well, we might be able to do this a couple of months.
Yeah.
Well, here it is.
It's amazing. It really is. Did I lose you again, DB? I swear, I think I done lost DB again. I heard like this explosion right at the end, and then all of a sudden I lost DB again. Oh well, DB. I don't know if you can still hear me or not. I've noticed I've lost you off the switchboard. So anyway, all right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Tune in next week. I will soon be announcing either the guest or the subject that we'll be discussing. And however you all usually get your news about the shows, you'll be getting some news probably within the next couple of days as to who the guest or subject will be. So thanks everyone again for tuning into the show. Hope everyone has a great week, and we will see you next Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Good night, folks.
A legend silently stalks the forest around the world, leaving giant man-like footprints in its wake. Skeptics scoff while the true believers search for the answers, and those who have seen it will never forget. Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, Blog Talk Radio. Billy Willard and the Blog Squatcher present Sasquatch Watch Radio. Your hosts Billy Willard and Dee Donlin bring you 60 minutes of the latest news and information, newly discovered evidence, and interviews with those searching for the truth and those who have seen it. Do you believe? Want to know the truth? It's out there waiting. Monday nights, 9 p.m. Blog Talk Radio. Sasquatch Watch Radio. Sit down, hold on tight, get ready, because it is about to go down. blogtalkradio.com/Sasquatch Watch Radio.
There's more to your story. More pages, new chapters. You can feel it. And now you're ready to grow. Laurel Ridge Community College is ready for you. Your real-world experience gives you an important head start. And with training, degrees, and certificates for the careers that are most in demand, you can do more, earn more, and advance more. Turn the page and start your story. Grow with us at Laurel Ridge. Visit laurelridge.edu/pathways.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.